happy Monday. I am getting ready to set out. It's quite a bit later than I would like to be starting my day, but I am 20 minutes away from the customer that I'm delivering to, and they don't open until 8, and I'm going to get there at like 7:40 or something like that, roughly. But I'm dealing with, okay, when you're trucking, there can be like little things that seem really minor, but they can become very frustrating to you. And I'm having an issue. Well, you're gonna laugh when you see this. Yeah, that's duct tape on my sun visor, because the sun visor won't stay up at all now. It just falls down. I don't know if this duct tape is gonna hold. It doesn't look like it's going to. The previous driver, I don't know what he or she did to it, but they like jammed it in a way that it was really difficult to get it to stay like in and up. And you really need that thing sometimes, because there's times when it's just like a really bad glare, or like there's times when I have to raise my seat so that I'm tall enough for the visor to cover my eyes when it's like crazy sunny out, because it can be super dangerous. Obviously glares can be dangerous. One more thing I'll tell you, at the risk of sounding like a super trucker, I don't mean to always sound like a know-it-all, because I'm not. I'm a baby beginner trucker. I've been trucking less than 2 years, so if I ever sound like I think I know what I'm talking about, I only know a little bit, and that's just real talk, y'all. But I just watched the guy next to me get out and do a pre-trip, which consisted of him like walking around the truck and kicking the tires. And I see people do that sometimes, and it looks like they're almost doing like a symbolic pre-trip, like they're doing it for someone else who's watching. Kicking the tires is not a way to assess whether the pressure is good. It's not going to tell you anything. It probably doesn't work on a car. I don't think it does. I don't know why people, I don't know. I don't understand that. Tire thumpers are inexpensive, or I think you can use a hammer, but someone told me at some point that you're not supposed to use a hammer. I don't know. Just get a cheap tire thumper, because that way you can hear the pitch of the tires. You can hear the sound. There's times when you're not going to check the tire pressure, like especially on your trailer tandems, because they are self-inflating on many, not necessarily most, but on a lot of trailers. But you still want, especially like me, I've been sitting for 34 hours, so you definitely want to check your tires, and you want to use a tire gauge to check the tires on the tractor, and then you want to use your tire thumper to check tires that can't be checked with a tire gauge. And it doesn't take any extra time, and it actually works on like kicking the tires. Okay, that's enough. I'm not trying to sound like a jerk. All right, I'll talk to you guys later. Good morning. Check out these beautiful woods behind me. You may notice that I have a full face of makeup, and some of you know what that means. That means that I've been sitting at this drop off after I dropped off for over an hour now. After waiting an hour, got a message from my dispatcher saying that the system that they use to book loads is currently down. I'm basically like at a point in my mind where I'm going to give it till the end of the week before I contact someone to ask for a change in fleet manager. I don't want to have to keep doing that, but it's also a situation where I'm just trying to measure myself and be like, am I being fair-minded about things? Am I looking at this the right way? Are my expectations unrealistic? And it can be very difficult to know that, because on the driver end of things, you only know so much. It's like, I wish I could talk to other fleet managers and get some insight, but I need the best right now. I need the best I can get, and I feel like I need to fight for that, because I'm willing to run really hard, and I think I have a good position that I'm coming from to ask for more. Especially like, I just keep wanting to tell them, like, you guys told us what your expectations were in the beginning, and you guys also told us to let you know, you were adamant in training that if we weren't happy, to let you know, and I'm not feeling like things are working. A big part of that is that this dispatcher, I have to contact her first a lot of the time. I realized this morning, it's like, shit, I should have called her when I was on my way to this dispatch and been like, I'm on my way there, because I need to be buzzing in her ear and bothering her, which I don't want to do. But I can tell that if I don't do that, I'm gonna fall through the cracks, because either she has too many people, or she's just not as on top of things. Obviously, she can't help the fact that this system is down. I feel like I have to be the person to tell her things that I shouldn't have to. Like, she should already know. You know, she should be a step ahead of me, not the other way around. This is not a good way to start the week. It's Monday. This is supposed to be the week I go home at the end of the week, and that's already like a problem because that means I can't go, you know, too far away. I'm in Ohio, and it would be perfect in my mind if they were to say send me to Pennsylvania somewhere, you know, and then send me back to Iowa or something, and then have me get back to the Chicago area at the end of the week. Like, that seems like a reasonable possibility. But yeah, man, I don't know. It's Monday and I want to be running, and now I already know, because I've lost an hour and because this delivery was so late, that I'll be lucky if I get like 300 miles in today. And it's like, what is going on? Not good, not good. All right. We didn't have to wait too crazy long. I mean, a little over an hour, maybe 90 minutes. So that's longer than I would like to wait. But I got a pickup that was only about 40 minutes away from where I was, and I'm obviously getting loaded right now. The people here are super nice. It's the second place in a row today that the people are just super cool, and I just love that. And oh yeah, okay, so I wanted to give you guys a pointer that I am partly putting on video so I remembered to do it myself. I don't know why I didn't think about this before. I want to give credit to Rave Trucking. I think her channel is it Rave Trucking or Raven? I think her name is Raven, but her channel is Rave Trucking, and she's awesome. She's really cool. She made a really important point in one of her recent videos that I was like, oh, why don't I do this all the time? When you're going to a customer, you more experienced drivers will know this, don't make fun of me. Google it and look up the reviews on it, and other drivers will put instructions or feedback. This is kind of similar to one of the trucking companies I worked at before had this. One of the things I really liked at that company was they had a very good company app, and they had a feature in that app. It was great because other drivers would put notes on like, oh, go to this door to check in, or the people here are not great, or, you know, they have restrooms or they don't. Like, all those little things that really affect your experience at a customer, or like a really important little note like make sure not to miss the first driveway, or you're gonna have to, you know, back down an S-curve or something like that. It is super useful. Well, it dawned on me, I was like, after I saw Raven's video, I was like, oh yeah, why have I not been doing that every single time? Like, I'll do it to look up the Google Maps, you know, satellite view of a place, but I wasn't thinking about reviews. And it's like, duh, drivers put reviews in there. So what I started thinking is, oh, this is one of the things that helped me, that other company. Every time I would go to a place, you go to so many places and they start to kind of blend together that you're like, this address sounds familiar. I'm pretty sure I've been here before, but I can't visualize it. And so I would go into the app and I would see my own review from before and be like, oh yeah. And sometimes I would see my review and still not remember until I got there. But because I had made notes that I know I'd remember, it saved me on that. So now I'm like, every time I stop somewhere, I'm trying to make sure to put a Google review, partly too because when you go to a place that's great and they treat the drivers well, I think it's good to give them that 5-star review to say like, this is a good place to stop, like it's easy and the people are cool. And also, you know, you can let other drivers know if they allow overnight parking, and like those little details really are helpful. Anyway, that's my little pointer for the day. Put in Google reviews, guys. Do it every time, because especially if you're a more experienced driver and you have like more insight, you know, and you know more what to put in there. It's never good when people are just like, this place sucks. Like, I used to see that a lot of people would just like shit post, and it's like, okay, you're probably just cranky and you have like a bad attitude, which most of the time ended up being the case. So yeah, I'm headed with this delivery to Wisconsin. I love going to Wisconsin. It's one of my preferred places to go, even though I have to go through the Gary and Chicago area, which I dread. Always, never good. So yeah, wish me luck with that. Good morning, friends. How you doing? I just had to get into the tightest spot I've had to get myself into in a minute, and it was a little bit stressful, and I felt bad because I had to back around this guy. Thankfully, there wasn't another tractor in the spot next to this one, because that would have made it a little more nerve-wracking. And I had to knock on this guy's truck, and he was definitely sleeping. But I just was like, can you just keep an eye out, because I can't, you know, it's so tight. And he was like, yeah, and I got in here okay, but it was one of those really tight where you have to get within a couple inches of their tractor with your trailer in order to back around them to fit in this tiny little narrow spot. I utilized my move the tandems all the way forward trick, which works well, but would have been a lot trickier if there had been another tractor to my right, because then you have all that trailer swing sticking out, and I would have been much more nervous, and I would have had the person on the right watching. I probably would have asked them before asking this guy. So that was a little bit nerve-wracking, but I'm happy my dispatcher got me on another load right away after the last one without really a wait. But the downside is that she is sending me to Maryland. Today is Tuesday, and I was supposed to be home for home time on Friday, and there's no way I'm gonna be back by Friday. So I am kind of frustrated because I already had told her when my home time was. This is an example of, I'm not trying to pick on her. I'm totally not trying to diss her, because like clearly we're all at different stages of whatever our jobs are, but this is an example of where like the dispatcher should be asking the questions. They should know like what the questions are that need to be asked. It shouldn't be on me to be like making sure that she is noticing or like remembering the stuff that I tell her. That's not good, because she's supposed to be keeping track of where her drivers are at all times, and I can tell she's kind of flustered, and that's not good. So I am probably going to be requesting a different fleet manager after this run. I don't know, soon. When I'm on the road, I think I'm going to try to get a hold of the guy that took care of it last time. Let me tell you, sorry to interrupt my little saga here. Another thing that I would tell you, if you have a newer Freightliner and you're trying to do a tight back and you don't want your truck to fucking suddenly lurch, use reverse 2. This guy right here, see, R1, there we go, R2. That helped me a lot on this one because it makes the backing much smoother. It like reduces the torque or something. I mean, that's probably not how you say that, but someone knows what I mean by that. Yeah, it helps a lot. That's another trick from the old Uncle Dirk playbook. That dude is a gold mine. You should watch his channel because he's always got some good stuff to share. But yeah, I had told her before that I was supposed to go home this weekend because she had never asked when my home time was, and it's like, you know, you do kind of want to know when I'm supposed to get back to Chicago, man. Now that I have an apartment that I'm paying for, I really want to be back there at least every 3 weeks. My sun visor is broken. It's a real menace. I have to ask them to fix that while I'm on home time. Anyway, yeah, so now I'm going to Maryland, which really sucks. I bet you anything I'm going by Baltimore. That one of my least favorite places that I've had to go. So that's all right. You know what? This is what we do. It's our job, right? Trucking. That's trucking. Okay. I'm gonna edit some video. I have a sneaking suspicion that I'm gonna get stuck at this customer for a while. So I don't even know what my appointment time was. I didn't look. She just sent me, that's another thing that keeps happening, is she keeps sending me an address and a pickup number, but no other information. So I didn't know I couldn't even tell them where the load was going. I had no idea. It's like, come on, dude. All right. I'll catch you guys soon. Just a little update. You like how I jerry-rigged a rubber band to keep this open? So I was on my way to a run in Baltimore, and I'm like, did I make a video clip talking about this earlier? I don't remember. I think I did, yeah. And I said that I think I'm probably going to end up near Baltimore. Of course it was Baltimore. That's one of the things you learn if you've never been a driver, by the way, that you'll get sent to towns that you're like, oh, I'm going to so-and-so, and it actually ends up being like, it is the major city, but it's like a smaller town or city within the city or something. And it's like, no, you're actually going to Baltimore, which is one of the worst places I've gone to in a truck, because there is no parking, and the closer you get, the less the parking is. And everyone who drives trucks already knows this. It's a mind-blowing reality that we all have to live with, and it makes no sense. But I am very happy to report that I went ahead and made that call and spoke with one of the managers of dispatchers and told him I'd like to change things up. And like, that's one thing I have to say for this company. I just have to tell you, like, I'm really impressed with the fact that this company is very responsive to any kind of concerns that drivers have. That's one thing I've noticed, like, has been a theme, is as soon as I got a hold of this guy, no problem. And I told him I feel bad because the current dispatcher, I don't have anything against her. I don't think she's terrible or anything. It's just, I think I'm not getting what I need, what I want from this situation. It quickly became apparent to me that I made the absolute right decision. And thank you to another driver who will probably see this, who gave me the name of his dispatcher that he really likes, because I got in touch with that dispatcher. Turns out he had room on his board. He also was part of the same team as my previous dispatcher who ended up leaving the company. So apparently there's enough talk between these guys that they know who I am, and they know that I have a positive reputation from what I have heard among them for being somebody who works hard and runs hard. So that's great, because I already have that going for me, that I don't have to like convince anybody. Like, they know that I like to work hard, and they know that that's what I expect to do, is run hard. So the previous dispatcher had sent me on this run. I could tell she didn't realize I was supposed to be back in Chicago by Friday, and this load delivers in Baltimore at 11 a.m. on Thursday. And I knew, looking at that, I was like, there was no way. But I didn't realize, because I haven't gone out to that far east in a while, I didn't realize that you can't get out of Baltimore very easily, and there's only short runs coming out of Baltimore, like really short loads. You can't just, get a load from Baltimore to Chicago. It doesn't work like that. But there is no way I would have made it back. I keep like seeing my own reflection in this door, and it's freaking me out. Like, is somebody in here? There's no way. There's no way I would have made it back to Chicago, possibly even by Saturday for my home time. And when I talked to her after that, she was like, oh yeah, it's doable. And then when I spoke with the other dispatcher, I realized, like, wow, she really doesn't know. She just doesn't know, because it's another instance. I have to turn this because it's bothering me so much. It's another instance of someone who just is not as experienced. For what I want to work with someone who is totally like has the experience to be able to predict, because that's so much of what this business is knowing what's coming. You have to like be able to anticipate and predict things and plan accordingly. So I'm really stoked. I feel like I'm in good hands right off the bat. He immediately, like our first conversation, he saw what was going on, and the fact that they had, this company, one thing I've noticed is they seem to take your home time seriously, because they probably know they'll lose good drivers if they don't. So when you expect to be home at a certain time, they make sure you get there at that time, which is really cool, because a lot of companies are like, oh, well, we tried, and they don't really, they're just like, oh, the driver's going to have to deal with it, He saw what was going on, like, as we were talking, and he's like, oh, yeah, that's probably not going to work. He's like, let's see if we can switch things up and have you trade trailers with another driver, do a trailer swap, and then have you go back toward the west so you can get closer to where you need to be for home time and not get stuck in Baltimore. And they made it happen so fast. They like worked it out. I was like, that's awesome. That says a lot. And so I have to give credit where credit is due. See, I'm not always complaining. There are positive things that happen, and that's the difference between having someone who's experienced and someone who's less experienced. And I don't hold it against somebody for being less experienced. We've all been there. This business is hard, and the dispatch end of things, it really requires, if you're going to have a positive experience and make money, it really depends on having somebody who knows a lot about how the business works. And also, like, as a driver, you have to be realistic about where the industry is at. Things are bad. They're getting worse. They're bad for dry van, especially from what I've heard. This is just the reality that we live in. So you need to have the best possible person handling your freight and paying attention to what time you have on your clock and when you need to be where at what time, all that stuff, so that you can maximize what is available. So I'm really grateful that was able to happen. And I had caffeine too late in the day, and I'm probably not going to be able to sleep. That's why I'm so chatty. So I'm like number 7 in line for a shower. I'm like, why did I even sign up for a shower at this time? But anyway, that's all I got for now. Talk to you later. Sup dudes, just a little update here. I'm about to do some editing because I have a couple of hours to kill. It's been such a weird couple of days, but ultimately working out in my favor, not financially, but in terms of like getting home for my home time and not having an extremely frustrating end to my week. I would have been sent to Baltimore. I would have gotten stuck there, and I think I said this in another clip, but the previous dispatcher was okay. I don't know how to put it. I don't want to say anything mean because I'm not trying to pick on her at all, but she just doesn't know. Ooh, I just saw the prettiest there's a couple of blue jays. I'm waiting for this what was supposed to be a preloaded trailer, and they're running way behind, and oh man, these birds are so pretty. I love getting to see them. I wish I had some binoculars so I could just sit here and bird watch. But I situated myself facing these woods, which is really nice. I am not complaining. And if I can find a little shade, maybe I'll bust out the yoga mat for a little bit and make good use of the time. Might as well. This new dispatcher was, I said this in another clip, was so awesome about like switching things up so quick on the fly. I just swapped trailers with another driver at the most congested freaking Loves of all time. But he was real cool. It was a really quick in and out, thankfully, because it's the kind of place that you don't want to have any like lingering going on because people are going to get upset. As I was trying to leave, I had to pull through the fuel island in front of the fuel island just to stop and give myself a couple of minutes to do my paperwork before I wanted to get on the road and get out this delightful kombucha. Oh, this stuff is so good. Just totally hits the spot today. It's kind of warm and I needed something crisp and refreshing. Pink Lady apple kombucha, well facing. Some woods with some beautiful turning leaves seems like a perfect little, you know, respite. It's been a lot of respite because I didn't start my clock today until like 9:30 or something like that because I had to meet, or 10:30? No, 9:30, because I didn't have to meet up with that driver until noon or 12:30 or something. So it's been a really slow day. I slept in, you know, my check next week is going to be terrible, but it's going to be worth it because I didn't have to go to Baltimore with that load. Also, they had loaded that trailer really back heavy in a way that was annoying, and it wasn't the end of the world. It was just kind of irritating to drive it. And then the customer, I called and asked if I could come in, deliver early, and they said no. And it's the kind of place where if you're late, they will make you wait long hours and there's no area to sit and wait. They were like, well, there's kind of a spot across the street from us that you can park. It's all congested. It's not a good place to ever have to deliver and then you get stuck. It's rough. So I'm really grateful to the other driver for swapping with me, and I just dropped my empty. I'm sitting here bobtail, and now I'm waiting for this trailer to be ready, and it's going to be a couple of hours. And I'm driving up to Michigan, another place that is not great to go, but not as bad as the East Coast. And then I'm going to be heading back toward my home terminal for home time for a couple of days, so that'll be nice. But I just wanted to say I'm super happy already. I can tell this dispatcher is great, and a big reason why is that he's a really effective communicator. We communicate in very similar ways, and I really appreciate somebody who, even if stuff's going wrong, I just want communication. That's it. That's what keeps me from getting upset. If I feel like I'm just being left in the wind and I'm just like, I don't know what's happening, that's when I start to lose my cool, because it's just the not knowing that drives me crazy. So this is a good start. So yeah, all right, I'll catch you later. You ever have a day where you feel like you didn't work that much and you shouldn't be that tired, but you feel fried anyway? That's how I feel today. And I was just talking with my good friend about how we both like beat ourselves up because we're always like feeling like guilty about stuff, like we don't do enough and we're not doing enough of this and that and just all these things. Today I couldn't start my clock until like 9:30 in the morning because of that load that was not arranged in an intelligent way, that was going to send me out to Baltimore when I was supposed to be headed back toward my home time too soon for that to work. This, new dispatcher rearranged everything and made it so that I was going to meet up with this other driver, swap trailers. He's taking that load to Baltimore, bless his heart. And I'm going back toward my home terminal after I do a couple of runs, and it made it so I couldn't start my day until late because we had to meet at a specific time, and it didn't take me that long to get to that point. And then I went almost across the street to this other place to pick up where I had been before. That was a drop-in hook, supposed to be in and out, preloaded trailer, and when I got there it was not ready, and I waited for like 3 hours. So I can probably claim detention, but then I left there and I just drove another hour to this truck stop, and I'm just stopping for the night because I'm tired. It's already like 6:45 now. It's later than that, and I need to get to bed soon because I want to start really early. I want to start as soon as my 10 is up and just get going in the morning, because today was such a waste. This whole week has been screwed. Like, I'm just venting for a sec because I wonder if other people are like this. Like, when things happen, this is probably one of my biggest challenges in trucking in terms of like keeping my headspace good. There are so many things that happen that are out of your control, and you guys might hear me complain about it and like put it on someone else or like be mad at the industry or whatever, but there's always like this internalization of like, it's my fault, which is why I need more therapy, but truly. But it is, it's like I can't stop being hard on myself about stuff. I'm so like frustrated. I feel this current of frustration with myself, like you didn't work hard enough today. You screwed up. And it's like, I have to stop and tell myself, no, none of that was stuff you had control over, but it just messes with me. So any day that I'm running under 600 miles and it's like, I'm not, doing everything I'm supposed to do, and I'm not starting my clock when it's been longer than 10 hours that I've been off the clock, it's this mind fuck. So does anyone else have that neurosis, or is it just me? All right, I'm gonna go take a shower. Kind of cool, don't see these up close very often. Just doing a pickup over here off of, this is a river which I will put in, is it St. Clair something, I think? I'm in Michigan and I'm picking up some salt, and I really want to jump in that water. I'm telling you, you guys know how it is. You know how I am. Pretty neat though, huh?